Hi, so today we're going to be going live with Kinky, my dear friend doll that is made in Ghana. And we're going to be doing that along with Theresa Baduba Ansah, who is going to be talking to us about African creativity. So if you're there, just hang in there and we will be right back in a few seconds. Right. If you've not met my friend Kinky, I'll tell you about her a little later. Right now, I want you to introduce yourself as usual on Unity Africa. Type in the comments who you are, where you're watching from. Today, we're going to be doing something amazing. We're going to be talking to Theresa MBA. Don't you just like that acronym, MBA? So I'm going to let her introduce herself and tell you what MBA means. Theresa, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you, Kenneth. It's a privilege to be on your show, and thank you again. All right, so I am Theresa Mami Baduba Ansah. So the MBA is the Mami Baduba Ansah. These are my abbreviations, and do you want me to tell you about myself or just the
Please
name?
go ahead. Yes, I want to hear from you. The show is for you
Okay,
today.
so I was born into a family of four: my father, my mom, my brother, and myself. My father is late, but I also started my own family of five. That's myself, my late husband, and my three children. I have three boys, 16, 14, and 11 years. And growing up, my JHS education was at Premier International School. This school no more exists. And I continued to Agri Memorial, Zion Secondary School. Then it was a secondary school in Cape Coast, now a senior high school. And from Agri, I continued to Ho Polytechnic. Then now it's Ho Technical University. Yeah. So my educational career from Hope Poly, I did my national service. I was privileged. I wanted to be a military woman actually. So
Wow.
I wanted to um delve into the military, like the Navy aspect. And so I decided to do my service at the Ministry of Defense. However, my dream did not become reality. It didn't come to reality due to other decisions that I took along the way. So after my national service, I moved to Nigeria, your country.
Wow.
I lived in Nigeria for 18 months, and I did missionary work full time in Nigeria. And I came back to Ghana in 2007. So my stay in Nigeria was between 2005 and 2007. Immediately I came back from Nigeria, I got married. And that is when my entrepreneurship journey started. I
That's
started
amazing.
as, yeah,
Yeah, let me pause you there. So you have a
okay.
16-year-old boy.
Yeah,
16.
my first son is 16 years. He's in the
So,
secondary school.
so viewers, what do you think? Can you guess when Theresa got married to have a 16-year-old boy? I want you to guess that. Guess that. Try to guess that. When did she get married? You have a 16, and you said you did full-time missionary work in
Yes.
Nigeria. What part of Nigeria was that?
I was in Shagamu, Ogun State. That was my first area. And then they moved me to Lagos. And
Mhm.
Lagos, but I was working in Ogba. And then I moved to Ikeja. So I served in three different areas. But I had opportunity to visit Abeokuta when I was in Ogun State. Yeah.
Wow, amazing. So you've been around. I think so the way you've mentioned some of the names of these places, even some people who stay in Lagos are not able to. I'm
In
not
fact,
able to.
whilst in Nigeria, I really put myself in the country. I served fully, and so I was trying to even learn the language. I enjoyed the food. My favorite food was edikanko, and coming back home, I still get opportunity to prepare edikanko because I have the leaves around. Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. We're going to talk about your entrepreneurial journey, but let me just welcome Olushola. Olushola is Yoruba and he's
Hmm.
from Abeokuta. Can you imagine that? What a cool.
Oh.
So you have been to his hometown. So Olushola,
Yes.
thank you for
Yes.
joining us. He's
Yes.
joining us from Accra, but he is from Abeokuta all the way from Nigeria. So you've been to his hometown. And I like the way you pronounce the name. Perfect. Ogba.
Abiyokuta.
Perfect. You know,
Thank
and
you.
very maybe within the show you speak some Yoruba for us as well. Oh, my apologies.
I'll
Shola
have to
is
go into
actually
the
Igbo.
archives. I remember
Yeah,
the Eshe when you ask them how are you,
yeah, yes,
a
thank
bit of
you.
Igbo too. A bit I
Wow,
learned a bit
amazing,
of Igbo because I worked with some Igbos as well.
awesome.
Kedu
That's
Odema,
cool. All right, that's so cool. And for those of you who don't know, what she's talking about when she said she likes idikan ikong, this is what it looks like. Just to let you know, and it's very juicy, very amazing. Please let us know. This is what you ate, right? You ate
Yes,
something
yes,
like
yes,
this.
yes, 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 yes. And I know I loved it when there are some periwinkles in it as well. You have to suck it, and I really
Wow.
enjoyed it with Eba. Yeah, you could tell I
Awesome.
enjoyed my
Thank you
stay in
so much.
Nigeria.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Mm.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. That's amazing. So your entrepreneurial journey started after
Mhm.
you got married. What sparked it?
Yeah.
What sparked that journey?
Yeah, so I think my stay in Nigeria sparked it. So in Nigeria, apart from working as a missionary, on Mondays normally we would get opportunity to prepare for the week. We go to the
Hmm.
market, buy foodstuffs, clean the apartment and stuff. And I noticed in one of the areas I lived in my apartment, there was this woman who made beads. She would jewel the beads, like the raw beads, into jewelry, and it was so fascinating. Back home, my mom had so many beads, and I would take the beads and you just use the normal thread to string it, but I had not gotten any training. So my time with the woman, I would say, was what sparked my entrepreneurial journey. I learned the
Mm,
basics in Nigeria. She taught me where I could get the tools, the plier, the cutter, and everything. I got a few, and then I started. So I was jeweling beads. So before I left Nigeria, I had made some jewelry that I gave away as gifts before coming to Ghana. So when I came to Ghana, I had an accounting background, and it was
mm.
difficult getting a job at the same time taking care of the family. When I came to Ghana, I got a job at our missionary training center, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I worked there for some
Okay.
months, but
Mhm.
there was a challenge with my first child. I had a miscarriage, and the doctor advised that I stayed home. And when you look at the distance from my place to where the work is, it wasn't that far, but the road was very terrible. It was bad. And so, from the advice of the doctor, I had to stay home.
Mm.
And so, now how do I get a job? My husband was also a temporary worker at that time. He was working on contracts. When it comes, he works. When it doesn't, then he
And you
needs
were
a
in Ghana.
have to
You're back
also.
to Ghana, like you said.
Yes, I
You're
had
back
to
to Ghana.
back him. Yes.
Mm.
Yes, I was in Ghana. Yeah. So we sat down. I started looking for a job in accounting, but we realized that the time to go to work in Ghana was 8. You have to be there at 8, but it means that you have to leave home by like 6 to avoid traffic. And you close
Mm.
at 5, you would get home very late. And this is a new family we had started. And so
Mm.
it was a difficult decision for us to to decide on. And so my husband suggested that I start with the beads at home. So he took me to Dodowa. There's a place after Adenta Barrier, Dodowa. They make the beads itself. And then my church also had this self-reliance center where you can go and then get places where you can get training. So I wanted to learn how to make the beads. I went there and I was directed to a company. And luckily for me, the owner of the business was my senior in secondary school. So it was so easy for me. She taught me everything I needed to know about bead making. And then
Okay.
we started in our single room. We had a little porch. I had a table there, and I started jeweling. My husband will help me do it. We moved from that to training people who were interested. So I had a little school, I would say, there. And then my husband again decided that I rather go to a fashion school. The reason was that during the jeweling business, I geared off the beads to making slippers with beads, and it was very viable. I would get a contract, I'll make them, we sell. And one particular batch went bad, so I had a shoemaker in Kumasi who would mold the bottom part of it for me, and then I'll string the top parts, and then he'll help in fixing it. One
Mm.
particular batch that was over 150 pieces. When it got to him, he removed all the beads that I had jeweled, and you can imagine, he fixed it, brought the order back to me in Accra, and it was bad. Nobody could wear it. So it stayed at home for a very long time. We couldn't sell it. Our money was into it. It was very expensive at that time, looking at our state too. So we decided we were not going back to the beads business again. So I got
Mm.
enrolled in fashion school, and in my first 3 months, I had started sewing for people. So I had to put a hold on the beads, started the fashion, and that worked for me. I went to a fashion school for 2 years, and within that 2 years, I had already started my business. We had moved from that single room to a chamber and hall, and we were using the hall
Mm.
as my business premises. I had a machine there, I had another knitting machine, and people will come to the house. I'll take their measurements and then sew for them. So that is how the sewing business started in our living room.
Man, your story is like you went to a whole new university after university, right? You went
Yeah,
through different courses. You went year
yeah.
one was bead making in Nigeria. Year two was
Kenneth,
bead making in Accra. Year three
Kenneth,
was
in between these two, in between the beads and the fashion, I can tell you that I started selling kinky. I prepared the kinky. My
wow.
mother-in-law taught me kinky. Yeah, how to make kinky. I prepared kinky, fancy kinky to be precise. And I also prepared shito to sell.
Wow.
I targeted the secondary school students. I also went into Tom Brown making. And this I started because of my child, my baby, because there was no money to buy baby
Mm.
food. The baby milk was too expensive, and so I had to learn how to make Tom Brown for my son, and I started doing business with it as well. So it wasn't rosy, but I
Mm.
think it prepared me for today, and I'm excited. I went through that university, as you would say.
Wow, wow, that is absolutely amazing. And if you're out there and you're inspired by this story, I want you to just say something to Baduba because her story is the typical story of someone who comes out strong, someone who comes out ready to face real life. Because in a real life, it's not like the answers to a mathematics question. There's no certainty, right? There is not like the answers to a maths question. Uncertainties arise, and you now have to pull up those things you've learned from the University of Life in order to keep thriving. And I see that there are quite a few people on the call. Please introduce yourself. We've met Ulushola from Abel Kuta. who has introduced herself, and we would like to meet you as well. Share who you are, share what you do, take the opportunity to share your story. I'm going to be talking about creativity with Baduba, but before that, I'm just going to switch over to my screen here and play a little song for everyone from a lady known as Sona Jobate. She's an amazing woman. If you know her, she is the only female virtuoso, perfect expert from a griot family. All right. So you can go back and watch the whole thing. Why did I play that video? If you notice that the audience there is a global audience, and the reason that they have patience to listen to her playing the kora, the instrument she plays is the kora, is because it's original. It's something original. It's something they don't have. Something the Europeans don't have. And I think Theresa is making something amazing that doesn't exist anywhere. Things like Kinky, right? So I'm just going to show it once again. So this is Baduba's website, and this amazing stuff she does. You can visit badubamba.mbamode.com. Very impressive, both the toys and the fashion products. You can see she's a very versatile entrepreneur. If you don't, when her beats didn't sell, she switched to Kinky. When her Kinky did sell, she switched to fashion.
It's all.
So you're not going to stop her, right?
Uh,
You're not going to be able to stop her. So I want you to tell us a little more about your story into making these dolls. What got you interested in making toys with an African theme? Is it an
okay.
important venture? Tell us about that.
All right. So before I continue, I want to say hello to Dr. Shola. Dr. Shola has joined us. She's in Ghana, and she's the
Awesome.
project lead from Academy for Women Entrepreneurs in Ghana. It's actually a program I'm currently rolled onto, and it's really changing my business, learning
Hmm.
a lot more than I knew, and I'm grateful that she has joined us. Okay,
Amazing.
so yeah, so my business was registered in 2013. I registered a business whilst I was a student in the fashion school. And I didn't operate fully or legally till 2014, when I graduated from the fashion school. And I moved from my home to a shop. And from there, I employed one worker. So it was a sole proprietorship.
Hmm.
But fast forward in 2017, we had to migrate from a sole proprietorship to a limited liability. The reason is that we were now getting known, we were being known, and we were also getting more trainings in entrepreneurship. And when it comes to
Hmm.
investments, people would want to invest in programs, or they want to invest in companies that are limited. A company that is a sole proprietorship means that the person is the same as a business. And so it will be
Hmm.
difficult for you to put your money into it, because the person can
Yeah.
actually squander everything and then move away. Yeah. But if it is limited, it means that they are directors. You are going by certain laws. You have your audited accounts, your records are straight. Like, there are certain compliances that you have to um be be linked to, or be doing, or have for your business. And so someone will want to put his or her money into your business, unlike a sole proprietorship. So in 2017, we migrated and we started the school in 2017. We started with 6 students and with 7 workers. And we moved from 2017 to 2019. In 2019, um, we felt we weren't really doing exactly what we wanted to. So we've been sewing everything: bridal,
Mm.
suits, children, uniforms, and we are running a school. But we wanted to be different. Everybody, like if you take 10 people who are into fashion, about 9 people are doing clothes. And
Mm.
it's general. How can we differentiate our business from others?
Mm.
And that is where the question was. We still didn't know. A few ideas came to mind until a new client, popped into our office and showed us a doll and asked if we could produce it. I had not produced a doll before, but I wanted to take the challenge. So I told her, yes, I could do it. I remember I had a first try, it didn't work. We did a second one, it didn't work. It was on the third count that we got it right. And for me, I have always moved from one stage to the other through revelation.
Mm.
And in one revelation, I was told that this is what I was supposed to do. I should
Mm.
continue with it.
Amazing.
So the dog came to stay. It didn't take long before COVID came. So COVID came to confirm what we had to do in producing the dolls. People were at home. Children
Yeah.
were no more in school. Children were at home. So what can we do for children? So COVID was actually a confirmation of where our business was supposed to now head to. And so our business was closed down. We started sewing PPEs. We had so many waste, fabric waste. You can imagine from the time there was lockdown to the time schools were opened, and we had so much waste that we didn't know what to do with the waste. So when we came back to full operation, we also started full operating with producing the dolls. And we had so much fabric waste to use. So our doll production was inspired by initial inspiration came from COVID and then the waste we had. However, going forward, I have an autistic son. My third
Mm.
son is autistic and he cannot speak. And my second son, he is not autistic, but he has traces of that. He has struggled with his education. He has been bullied in school. He has been trolled. People laugh at him
Mm.
the way he talks, and it makes him feel less confidence of himself. You speak to him, you encourage him, and he still feels, Mommy, people don't like me. Mommy, they've been laughing at me. Mommy, I couldn't copy all the notes from the board, and my friends will laugh at me. They said I'm of no use, I'm no good, I'm not like them. When I'm going to them, they will push me away. He has experienced it not once, not twice. And like him,
Yeah.
there are other children who have also been facing such. And so when it comes to my dolls, the inspiration now comes from my children. How can I help
Mm.
children to feel confident about themselves? How can I help them develop social skills? How can I help them have empathy? Because now we have even adults who are abusing people out of less of empathy. But if you are able to train
Mm.
your child from that beginning stage to have empathy, to show that sympathy, like love for people, the person will grow up to be a great man or a great woman. So my inspiration comes from my children to
Mm.
be able to help other children become confident, accept themselves as they are, identify themselves as blacks. And
Mm.
we are blacks. We can't do anything about it. So how can you accept
Yeah.
yourself? If you see a
Yeah.
doll like this, if you see this doll and you are black and the doll is black and this is your hair, yes, and this is the doll's hair. The doll has fingers, when I started, I was using patterns, and the patterns did not actually um, identify as who we are, like my 5 fingers. And so I had to sit down, create my own pattern to depict it. And I'm still working on other ones as well. So very soon you have a doll that looks like Kenneth.
That'd be
Yes.
interesting, right?
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
what we are
you said
going
something
for.
powerful about identity, accepting who we are as a people, identity, and that kind of like dovetails into one of my next questions, which is, someone sees this doll or the doll you are holding and says it's black, it's offensive. Do you have that kind of feedback that, why do I want a black doll? Is there something wrong with it being black? I mean, is that are people like black doll? What is your experience with that?
Okay, when we talk about black dolls started in the year 1900s,
Hmm.
many years
Wow.
ago. Yeah. Between 1910 and 1930, we had Haussmann, we had Vogue, we had Madame Alexandra, who now integrated black dolls into their doll lines.
Hmm.
And you ask yourself why. When you go back in history, you realize that there were slaves. Blacks were slaves, and
Hmm.
blacks as slaves were mocked. And so for that to be taken off, people had to create dolls with black body to show that yes, we are black, and we have courage. We are happy we are black. This is who we are. You know, the white man has been placed on top of the black, and it makes we the blacks feel like at times we are nobody, like we cannot get there. But we
Hmm.
fail to understand that we have so much in us that we can give to the world. But because of this color black, it limits us, it limits everything that we do. When it goes to spirituality, I am a spiritual person as well.
Mhm.
Spirituality will tell you that black actually means protection. Have you ever
Hmm.
asked yourself why we wear black to funerals?
Okay, tell me.
Okay, so black is protection. During funerals, there are so many spirits.
Hmm.
Let me just share a story with you. Before my husband passed away, I had different dreams seeing him gone. I'll tell him every dream and he will interpret it for me. So he knew he was going. On many occasions, it was during funerals, and I'll see the dead body laid in state, and I'll see my husband as a spirit, and I'll see God. And my husband will be the interpreter between the dead body and God.
Hmm.
These were series of revelations or dreams that I saw before he died. And we knew he was going before the doctor even declared that he would leave this existence. Black during funerals protects the individual wearing the black
Hmm.
from different spirits around. This somebody may not understand, but it is in the spiritual context. When we bring it down to our level, black means beauty. Black means beauty. Black means courage. Black means strength. And so we should be privileged to find ourselves as blacks. We don't know why we were created as such, but
Yeah.
we find ourselves as blacks. And so we need to really accept it. I have had people who have asked why I make black dolls and not white dolls. And I tell them, I produce white dolls. If you request for it, I'll do it. So we have different shades. We have a shade for in even in Ghana, we have those who are albinos. So we have a shade for them as well. We have a little fairer color than this. So depending on what you want, we will produce for you. But on a regular day, we are promoting Black, and we are promoting our cultural heritage. We want to bring back history. That is the whole idea. History that has been long forgotten. People who have been forgotten, people who have been heroes in our society in the past, who have been forgotten. We talk about them and we leave them. So we are looking at how can we bring it back on daily basis for children to learn about these people, for children to learn about history. So we are not just producing dolls. Our dolls are not just dolls, but they are a cultural representation of pride.
Mm. Wow, thank you, Elvis. So let me just acknowledge a few people on the call. Elvis says, "Loving this." That is amazing. And Uche said, "Insightful." And then we have Uche is watching from Accra. Also, Kwame is Kwame Agbemifa. Kwame Agbemifa says his name is David, watching from Accra. That's amazing. That's a good one. Good for thought there. And once again, we are honored to have Dr. Lucia, who says, "I'm happy to be here and to know much about your entrepreneurial journey. Kudos to you for staying on course." I'm going to take another short
Thank
music
you,
break.
Dr. Shola.
Yes, I'm going to take another short music break. But after the break, I will ask Theresa to tell us about her posture on learning. If you listen to her story at the beginning, you discover she's had to learn a lot. She's had to learn a lot. She has to respond to life by learning something new. She responds to each phase of her life by learning something new, whether it's in the natural realm or in the spiritual realm, right? She has to learn one thing or the other. So she's going to tell us a bit about that. And then she's going to describe her doll. And I'm going to describe mine too, right? So I want you to stay tuned. And once again, we're going to listen to Sona Jabate, powerful lady who on the left side, that is Sona Jabate's son. So she's basically passing across the choral tradition to her son, you know, to her son as she grows it. And that's another interesting thing that we're going to learn about. How do we transfer the culture to the next generation as much as it is? Originality, uniqueness, and then singing to a global audience. What's that? All right, so we're back. We've been. Elvis says white dolls within an African context is an extension of colonialism. We are going to look at that. We're going to look at that allegation in a few minutes. I'm going to allow Theresa to take one more breather, and I'll just play this advert. But I like that statement. That statement it calls for reflection, an extension of colonialism. Just we'll be back in a second or two. Right, welcome back. And if you're watching us from Accra, Lagos, Kenya, Nairobi, anywhere you're watching us from, please share this with your friends. We're talking to Theresa MBA, Theresa Mami Baduba Ansah, and she's been telling us about her entrepreneurial journey, what got her into beads, kinky, fashion, and dolls. That's the University of Life for you. And
Yeah.
thank you, Whispering Giant, for saying awesome. So I want you to tell us more about your learning journey. Did
Okay.
you do you see yourself as someone that is passionate about learning, or this something that was you are driven into it, so to speak, by the challenges you had to overcome? Tell us more about that.
I I am a practical person. I remember in secondary school, I told my father I wanted to stop secondary school because he forced me into learning accountancy. I
Mm,
developed my career whilst I was in the secondary school, and I didn't want to waste time. However, I had to toe by his line, go through the process till my husband discovered me. And so I have had series of education and trainings. I talked about my tertiary education at Ho Polytechnic. After my HND, I also went to Angelo Institute to study fashion. I've also been to SIPS, China Europe International
mm,
Business School. Yeah, I did a mini MBA program there. I've also had opportunity to be part of the Dutch Export Academy. That was organized by the Netherlands here and in the Netherlands as well. I
mm,
have also had mini MBA program with Access Bank, funded by the IFC, International Finance Corporation. When it comes to entrepreneurship, I've been in so
mm,
many trainings. And currently, I'm a student at Accra Technical University. I'm pursuing my fashion program again. Like, I want to rise in that line. So I'm currently a student there. I am also a participant at the Academy for Women Entrepreneur. It's another entrepreneurship program. And
mm.
I'm also a student at the Aura Writers Club. So um, I'm I'm becoming an author very soon, just like you.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm schooling. I see education as everything. If you are not educated, you won't go with the masses. Like, you will be where you are. And I learned this from my father. He was an educationist, and I think naturally I have come to absorb it. I always want to learn. I always want to learn. And it doesn't mean like sitting in the classroom, practical learning. If I don't
Mm.
know, I want to get training in it to know, to be able to teach other people as well. So it's not just for me, but for others as well.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing. So learning has come to you naturally, so to
Yes.
speak. And I like the fact that you started with the fact that you're a very practical person. When the occasion demands it, you respond to life practically, and
Yes.
you appear to know very clearly what you want. You stay on course while responding to the, in quote, vicissitudes of life. If that's a new word for you, please try it out.
Yes. And Kenneth, I think the challenges of life has also pushed me
Mm,
because after my husband passed away, it was as if there was no hope for me. I was scared. I didn't know. There was fear gripped me. There were days I'll sit in the office and I'll ask myself, what if all my workers decide not to come today? Because I
mm,
wasn't paying them well. There wasn't money. The business was not making me like enough money to be able to pay them what was due them. So there were
mm,
times I was scared. There were times I'll ask myself, what if today all the students decide not to come to school? What will
mm,
happen? This is my life. My business has been my life. I wasn't working, I wasn't getting any money from anywhere. And so it pushed me to learning, to
mm,
finding more ways, like networking as well, getting um, people who have been in my shoes and who have been there, who have gone up, who has risen, to tap into their knowledge, to know what to do to progress in life, and especially in the business. So life challenges has also pushed me so hard,
Yeah.
making me know that I have to do it. I have to do it. Nobody can do it for me. And if you don't learn, you're stagnant.
Hmm. And it's almost like anticipating the future. And I think that's what you are doing. Some people might perceive it as being scared or being paranoid, but it's
Mhm.
basically anticipating what happens if this happens. And that's what we
Yes,
do in
yes.
strategy, really. Anticipate. What happens if everybody leaves? What happens if they don't come back? What happens if people don't buy the dolls? And
Yes,
so forth.
yes.
Let me pause here and read a few comments from the chat is
Yeah.
really getting hot. I mean, there's a flame of fire in this chat, and I just want to read out and acknowledge everyone who is here. Mamesi Grant says, proud of Theresa. She has a lot of passion. And that is something I forgot to say at the beginning. Every time you meet Baduba, I like the Baduba name actually.
Yeah.
Comes you with a smile. With a smile, despite all the challenges, some of which she's sharing today. She comes at you with a smile, and that's so powerful. And Elvis says, I said that. He's referring to the fact that he said, continuing to make white dolls is a racist agenda. I paraphrased it. That's what a conversation. I said that based on those asking why you don't make white dolls. I'm full support with this. Yeah. So, I mean, why the question? The question of why don't you make white dolls assumes that that is the norm. Meanwhile, those who originally started making white dolls were making it based on their reality. So why
Yeah.
don't you make something based on your own reality? That's beautiful. And Dr. Olushala said, there's nothing, and it's so wonderful, there's
Yeah.
nothing more powerful than birthing an enterprise through personal
Personal
experience.
experience.
It is so convincing and simply touching. And I want you to know, this is so true. Because you can go to all the business school you want. If it's not in you, it's not in you, right? And that's why I used to joke that my mom told me not to be an entrepreneur because I am too nice, right? And it is the truth, right? That I'm very nice. So it's not that in me. So I chose a style of entrepreneurship that
Mm-hmm.
kind of like minimizes that niceness a bit, so to speak, or excludes me from the impact of that niceness. So yes, it's in her, it's in Baduba, it's in her. She wants to do this, and right from time, if you listen to the story from the beginning, her dad said you have to be an accountant, like many dads and moms used to say in those
Mm-hmm.
days. But she already knew that she didn't need secondary school. I mean, that's just a joke, but that's the extreme. The issue, the kind of learning she needed was the learning to position her to really triumph in life. Kwame says, I want to ask Madam Teresa, if she's ever faced criticism of her being racist because she promotes
Because
black
she's
dolls.
because
If
let
yes,
me tell
how
you.
did she react to it? So that is the reverse. Racism in the reverse. Did you face that?
Yeah,
Tell us about that.
you'll be surprised to know that when I travel to sell my toys, the whites buy the black dolls. You'll be so surprised. So it's not about being a racist. I'm not a racist, but I'm trying to let people know that there are so many white dolls in the system,
Yeah.
and more so the plastic ones. We want the eco-friendly ones, sustainability. How can we also maintain the environment with our products?
Mm.
We've always embraced the plastic ones, but
Mm.
we can still produce fabric ones. And of course, using waste is a way to sustainability. And so the whites also love the blacks.
Yes.
They do.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. So it's like the music we played earlier. They say that a prophet has no honor in his own house. I think the Lord
Hmm.
Jesus himself said that a prophet has not no honor in their house. So you are making a
Yeah.
black door for black people, but more white people are buying the black doors from you.
Yes.
And I
I
think
had
it also
there
shows
was
that
a problem.
originality. Hmm.
Hmm.
Tell me.
Yeah, we had a problem, and in fact, it was a learning process for me. We had a batch of dolls we had made for a client in the UK, and you can see that there is no lips on this. It
Yes.
doesn't have any lips, like
Yes.
any lips. And I'm yet to do that. This is a new one we've produced. So in the past,
Yeah.
I do the creative part, the face, the eyes, and then the lips. And we would use red paints, acrylic paints for the lips.
Mm.
And this particular batch went to the UK and it wasn't
Mm.
accepted. In fact, we lost
Wow.
money on that, yeah. And so I asked the person told us, no, you cannot send us dolls with red lips. So I had to research on that. She gave me a reason, but I still felt, this is just a doll with red
Mm.
lips. Why
Mhm.
won't people buy it? And so in my research, I got to know that, I talked about slavery. So
Yeah.
blacks were slaves, but the
Hmm.
whites are whites. So why
Mm.
would you produce a black doll with red lips? It's as if you are mocking the whites and you
Mm.
are mocking the blacks as well. And that is why it wasn't accepted. So we had to change the color of their lips. So
Mm.
currently, you won't see a black doll, like a Beduba black doll with a red lips because of
Mm.
that. If not, it's as if it's mockery. It's mockery to the whites, it's mockery to the blacks as well. So we are careful. So this brings us to learning as well. When you are whatever you are into, whatever you are producing, you need to know more about that product. You need to
Hmm.
know how the market receives it. You need to know what you are supposed to do, what you are not supposed to do, because you are selling to people. And if
Yeah.
these people do not want it, they won't buy. And so you have
Precisely.
to meet the target market, what they want. You need to know it and then produce the right products for them. We lost money, but it helped us
To learn.
subsequently. Well, so whichever country we are sending our products to, you need to do a research in that country. How do they accept your products? There are some countries who are particular about certain colors.
Mm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm not even talking about the doll, but if you are
Yeah.
packaging,
Generally.
for example, and you are sending your product to countries, there are countries who will not like specific color for packaging. And so it's good you research, you learn to know more about your products before selling it to people.
There was a story about, I think, one of the ambassadors to Japan who went to give the emperor or an official in Japan a clock. And she later learned, later she became some kind of a culture expert. So she later learned that Japanese don't like you giving them a clock as a gift because you're telling them their time is running out. It's an interesting aspect of culture, and culture is deep in business. And just like you said it, if you want to be global, you have to know
Mm.
some of these things. Sometimes
Yeah.
I have to deal with entrepreneurs in Nigeria who don't know that Nigeria is 1 hour ahead of Ghana. How are you going to have meetings with people if you don't know something as basic as time
Yeah.
zones?
Yeah.
How are you going to send your dolls to England if you don't know that they don't like red lips or particular colors? So that's very insightful.
Mhm.
Learning from the customer, because the customer is king. So you are
Yes.
there to satisfy the customer. That's very insightful. And I think you also answered the question about the racism. We are the ones who are bothered about our race. People outside, they
Mhm.
just want value. Can we give value in our context from our originality? The West has accepted Asia. Now the West has to accept Africa, accept our originality. And I thank you for what you're doing on that. All right, there's another interesting question here, which it says, doll making is a spiritual process,
Spiritual
and you
process.
leave a bit of your essence in the doll. I mean, these
Yeah.
are things that we have to test in labs.
Mhm.
How do you separate bad energy before the dolls get sold? All right, tell us
I
about that.
will.
Is there anything about that?
Uche, I would say yes. I would say yes.
Mm.
I see my dolls as part of my family. There are times I speak to them. Yeah.
Mm.
It's my creation. I created this. I sat down to create this pattern. And so when it goes to production to produce, I'm the final quality control person here. I'm the creative director. I direct everything. It is produced. We have a team that puts everything together. And I must commend my team. They are doing a great work. Without them, we wouldn't be where we are. They produce it at times when there's a mistake, and there is no degree for mistakes. When it comes to MBA, they will tell you there is 0 degree for mistakes. Bring
Mm,
it, and like let me see just a small part of even stitches. You go back and recreate it. And I see it as creation. I made a post some time ago about God creating us, and he
mm,
values us. This is my product. I am God's product. And this is my product. He has given me that creative ability. So why won't I have a bit of me in it? Before
mm,
my toys go, I speak to them. Any toy that moves from our production house, the last place it settles is with me. I speak to them, and I speak into their minds that wherever they are going, the people should love them and enjoy
mm.
them, and they should serve the purpose for which they have been bought. And so,
Wow.
yes, there is that spiritual attachment to my dolls. And
Mm.
don't be surprised if perhaps next year you hear of Beduba dolls talking, because that's the
Yeah,
goal. Oh, yes.
interesting.
Yeah, that's the
Amazing.
goal, to
All
see
right.
our dolls talking so they can resonate with children. They can teach children how to read, they can teach
Mm.
children how to calculate, to help
Wow.
special needs children. That is where we are going.
Amazing. Please follow Baduba on Facebook, on LinkedIn, everywhere. Just look for Theresa MBA, Theresa Baduba Ansah, or go over to the website. You see how to follow her up. Do not slow down on that. And if you're enjoying this presentation, please share it. Share it. Let somebody else know about this amazing work that she's doing. And if you've listened to her for the few minutes that we've been talking, you will realize that this is real. This is authentic. This is from her heart. And it's something that should go out there. So let me ask you another question. But before that, I'll just wrap up some of the thoughts here in the comments. Fears and challenges are an accelerant. That's another new word. New word
Yes.
alert.
Yeah.
Accelerant to your
I need to
destination.
add it to my vocabulary book.
I'm telling you, that's a good one. And Elvis says, growing up, I never saw a black doll. Awesome initiative. A doll is an expression of our essence. So it's cool you're producing black dolls. That's another powerful thing. I'm going to ask you about that. The
Thank you.
demand, the distribution, and the dominance of our local products in our
Mm.
markets. All right. Elvis says, this is selling African pride. Awesome. I think, I think it's like seeing value in something because of relative scarcity, and that's where originality comes in. You know, a lot of countries in Africa, the moment someone starts something, everybody copies it. But
Yeah.
really, we should become more creative, more original. To because when when what you're selling is rare, the value kind of like goes up. Just like the music we've been listening to from Sona Jabate,
So Najibate.
rare. It's preserved across families for the last 700 years. They preserved that music, that kind of music within their families, and she's the first female really to play
Wow.
the kora, and that's the kind of originality we're really looking at. Yes, good vision. Use AI for dolls. Yes, that's the speaking doll coming in
Yes.
2025. Speaking
Yeah.
doll, awesome.
2025. Yes.
All right, beautiful. So, Teresa, tell us about distribution. Tell us about how people perceive your dolls in the market. How do you distribute? Do we have enough channels? Do enough people know about your dolls? Do they think it's expensive, and so on? Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. So mainly we do B2B, business to
Hmm.
businesses. Yeah. So we sell directly to individuals, but that isn't the goal. The goal is to sell to businesses. So we have a number of businesses that we produce for, and they in turn buy. If you go to the airport, for example, our products are there. We have one
Hmm.
business, a store that buys from us, and then they sell. We have others who also buy and sell online. But I also get opportunity to travel a few times within the years, and then
Mhm.
I go and sell them, and then seek for markets as well. So the ours is not direct sales to individuals. I get to sell directly when I go for fairs, the trade fairs. I sell directly to people,
Mhm.
and then those who know about us will always contact us, and they will buy a few 1, 2, 5, 10, 15. So our prices are in ranges. Just like what we have on eBay, Amazon, we have from 1 to 19, there's a price range. From 20 to um, 100, there's a price range. From 101 to 499, there's a price range. So the more you buy, the lesser the cost. And I must tell you, ours is the cheapest you can get. Our fabric
Wow.
stuffed dolls are the cheapest you can get. I won't lie to you, they are the cheapest you can get. When it
Awesome.
comes to pricing, this is handcrafted. People
Yes,
sit
yes.
down and they make them. The hair you see is not machine made. It is my team. They sit down to fix the hair. Just like you go to a salon, you sit and your hair will be fixed. This takes time in making. And so those who appreciate handiworks will even want to pay more for this.
Yeah.
People who really appreciate handiworks, people who are doll collectors. So there are people who are doll collectors. They will only buy, even adults, they'll go around collecting dolls, and they know the value that handcrafted dolls have. And so they will buy without looking at pricing. Our price for this medium size is 220, 220 Ghana cedis. You can
Okay.
compare it to a plastic doll,
Mm.
but look at what goes into it, and not only the sewing aspect, but the people who produce it. So we have young women who have dedicated themselves to producing it. We even have a disability, and our person who heads the staffing team, who makes sure that the fiber is put in each doll, is disabled. She's disabled, but she hasn't allowed her disability to limit her. She's one of our students years ago. She graduated and we employed her, and she's been doing amazingly well. And so people who want to buy the toys too, because of the value it's giving to the
Yeah.
people who sit to produce it, not just because it is a black doll. And a part
Okay.
of the returns also go into supporting our needy students. So we have in our school, we have those who come in who are needy. We also use a part of it to support such people so they can also get education or training in fashion designing.
So this is impact on income actually, and a
Yes.
lot of value goes into making these things. The fact that it's handmade, the people involved in making it, the philosophy behind the product, and
Mm-hmm.
the story that we're trying to tell about our identity as Africans. This is so powerful. We're going to talk about two more things before we close out today. We're going to ask Theresa to share her advice for any emerging entrepreneur out there who may be facing challenges, who needs to find their identity, who needs to align with the purpose of their passion. And then we're going to also talk about handing down some of our most treasured values, our most treasured crafts to the next generation. Before we do that, I'm going to one more time play Sona Jabata for you, but it's not a song as much. It is how she is basically handing off her craft to her son. So let's just watch this. Tell me if you can hear the sound once I start playing. And if you're in the crowd, if you're in the audience, please share this link. Please tell Theresa something you've appreciated from her
Mm-hmm.
presentation today. Like that, I mean, appreciate her. We're still going to close out. So this is your opportunity to say something right now. So let's listen to this. Sound okay?
Yes,
My
it's
name is
very
Sona
clear.
Jabbar, first professional female choral player. I'm currently in London, but one of the ways I make sure I reconnect is by playing my choir and teaching my son.
All right, that was awesome. Thank you so much. So that's beautiful, right? I hope you like the music. Please let me know in the audience. Do you like the music? Is this worth sharing? Is it worth sharing? Is it worth commenting? Is it worth liking? Is it worth a heart? Give us a heart. You know? Yeah. Let me read some of the feedback. I have a special child. Thank you. Yes, Uche does. The situation giving you inspiration to showcase Africa is beautiful. Well done. That is
Thank
an
you,
awesome
Uche.
feedback.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Kwame says, I really admire her dedication. That's from Kwame, David.
Thank you, Kwame.
And then Dr. Lushala says, well done, Theresa Mba. And, there's a name called Mba in Igbo
Yeah,
actually.
yes,
But
yes, yes.
to be
Thank you,
proud of
Dr.
you.
Shola.
Right? Awesome, awesome. All right. Yeah, Doris joined. Doris, please let us know who you are and what you do, and how you've experienced this presentation today. And then Elvis says, how do we dissociate the beliefs of spiritism and dolls? Some people believe dolls are used to medium for the spiritual. What do you think about that?
Okay, you can actually use anything as a medium when it comes to
Yeah,
spirituality. You can
precisely.
use even this pen. So
Yeah,
long as you allow it, it will, it
yeah.
will happen. So you can use anything as a medium for spirituality. So you decide. That
Mm,
is all that I can say. You decide. We have watched
precisely.
films in the past where people, even there's this famous film, Chucky, Child's
Yeah,
Play.
that's
Yeah,
play.
that had this talking and it was always doing bad things, But I will always say that spirituality is you. Spirituality is you. And you determine what you want to use as a medium to get to your creator. For me, my medium is through Christ. And I know I have been given that power. I have been given that creative ability. So as every entrepreneur, if you are able to produce something, a product, it means that you have the creative ability. The only power I haven't been given is to breathe into this to become a human being.
Yeah.
That is the only power, yes, I haven't been given. And I won't even fight for it. But I'll be at that same level that the Lord wants me to be. And that is to create. And I can, like someone is saying, use AI. I'm talking about a doll talking. What will I
Yeah.
do to make it talk? Not to breathe in it, but there are other sources of materials or ways that the Lord has still used other people to generate, to produce.
Mm,
So yours can also get to where you want to be. So, yes, you can use any medium when it comes to spirituality.
yeah. Thank you for that. That's a, uh, in fact, Elvis says that's a good and smart answer, which means it's not in the thing itself. It is in you,
Yeah,
what you
it's
decide
in
to
you.
do.
Yes.
It's in you, and that means it is humans who have authority to be on this planet that actually let spirits in or otherwise. So
Mhm.
you are the one that is in charge of that, and we all must align ourselves to make sure that we are on the right path. If we're really looking for truth, we will find the truth, right?
Yes.
In Christ. All right. So this is Doris saying, Doris, CEO of Doris Skills Development Center. I happen to know Theresa from AGI. She is doing so well. Please say hello to
Yes, Auntie
Doris.
Doris.
Theresa.
Nice to have you here. I owe you a lot.
Awesome. Awesome. So
Yeah,
finally, Theresa, what do you think about passing on um, our crafts to the next
yeah.
generation? And what would you say to emerging entrepreneurs out there before we close out?
For emerging entrepreneurs, I would say that everybody has been given a purpose. The moment you set foot on this earth, it means that you have been created for a purpose. And so, if you have identified yourself as an entrepreneur, then that means that you are producing something to meet a need. You are just not producing, but your product should meet a need of someone. And you won't have it that easy. You will struggle. Yesterday, I had a call from an entrepreneur who is way older than me. She called me and said she wasn't even sure if I'll be willing to speak to her. And after we had talked for close to like 30 minutes, she was like, MBA, you are a nice person. You've given me so much. And I said, yes, I have been given. And so I also have to give. Entrepreneurship is no joke. Anybody who would tell you that it is a joke will be lying to you, because you have to grind. You need to have the passion. If there is no passion, you will not survive. You need to know your market. What are you producing? Who are you producing for? Are they going to buy? There are a lot of things that houses entrepreneurship. Pricing, um, the raw materials you use, suppliers, creditors, a whole lot. And so if you're an entrepreneur, it means that you need to be ready to learn. You need to be ready to learn. I learned it the hard way. I went through it the hard way. I remember when I started, I thought the business was mine. And so all monies that were coming, it was going into our family coffers because we didn't have money. We felt I was working for the family. So why can't we use the money? It's even generated an issue between my husband and I when I had gone for my first entrepreneurial training, and I learned that my money, the money that comes into the business is not for me, but it's for the business. And so I have to pay myself. And how much am I even paying myself? We are not making much. So I had to
Mm.
learn the hard way. I had to forfeit so many things. For many years, I wasn't buying clothes for myself. For
Mm.
many years, I denied myself of so many life things that could like make me good in life because I wanted to grow the business. The little money that comes, I have to put it back in the business. The little money, I have to put it back. And I was fortunate to have somebody I call an angel who kept investing in us. May God bless her heart. She knows herself. And she has been with us from I would say 2017 to date. And it's because she believed in me. She believed in me. So there are times as an entrepreneur, you are trying to meet a need of someone. But that person you are meeting his or her need will become the person who will meet your need. I hope someone will write this somewhere. There are times you are trying to meet the
Yeah.
need of someone, but in turn, that same person will be the one to meet your need. And that is what happened to me. And so, entrepreneurship is no joke. If you want to go into it and you started, dedicate yourself, learn, and then, yeah, I would say that's it. And when it comes to preserving our culture,
Thank you
I
so
would
much.
say there are core
Hmm.
values we have in our culture, and there are meanings behind all our cultural creations. If we take the Adinkra symbols, for example, you will realize that there are different symbols and all have meanings. It's been preserved to this time. Many people are using it in their businesses. But do our children understand it? How can we preserve it? In my field, for example, that is what we are trying to do, to bring back some of these things so that not adults alone but even the children from age 3 upwards will learn about these things. We have been given a lot. We have rich culture, we have original minerals, we have so much that we can pass on to our generation, not just the dolls, music, clothes, food, lots of things that we can pass on to them. We want to bring the past back. We want to bring the past back. Yes, those are the Adinkra symbols. We want to have our cultural pride. We want to challenge societal perceptions of beauty and blackness. And that is what we as MBA mode, that is why we are doing what we are doing. I want to show something to
Wow.
you so you can see this, for example. This is a giraffe. So this is a
Mm.
giraffe. But when you look at this part, Kenna, what do you see?
Yeah, wow. That's amazing. I think I have to come and buy this one. I've been trying to hide my pens
So
from my
we
children.
have different where, so this actually somebody would say it's for children, but this can be
Yeah,
used by an adult in an office, so we are
precisely.
trying to also let people know that toys are not just toys. They are
Mm,
not just toys, but they can serve other purposes in the office, in the home.
yeah.
There are people who go around just collecting toys, and they
Mm,
do it for cultural purposes. And adults, I would say, um, they are not just toys,
mm.
but I align myself with it. They are a cultural representation of creative expressing oneself. And yeah,
Wow.
I think that's all I have to
We could
say.
keep talking for 3 hours, really.
Yes,
We
we
could
could.
talk
We
on
could.
and
When you leave
it's
me, I
amazing.
will talk and talk and talk.
Yeah, we have to bring you back. We have to bring you back to talk about more things. This is amazing. And I think with all the things you're learning as well, a lot of young entrepreneurs have a lot to learn from you. Who knows? Maybe you will join the strategy club and become one of our mentors.
That'll
We
be
talk
fine.
more
I'll
about
be glad to do that. I'll be glad to do that.
yeah. So building it out. I want to thank you so much for being with us today. We've talked for about an hour, 18 minutes, and we've
Yeah.
been here for more than that because we had to be in the backstage for some time. And Kinky has been here with us. And you probably know that Teresa has also shown many of her dolls. What's our doll's name? What's her name?
Okay, so this is Beduba.
Beduba. And
Yes.
okay, Beduba and
So
Beduba. Yes,
it's
it's the same character.
the same thing, yeah. So we
Mm,
we we name them according to their hair.
okay.
And this is Kojo.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. And this is also Kojo. So this is
Wow.
like a family. I don't know if you can see. It's like
Yeah.
a three generation
Interesting.
family. Yeah, a family
So we can
tree.
buy it as a pack. We can
Yeah,
buy it
you
as
can
a
buy
pack.
it. You can buy it as a pack, and we also have, like I said, it's not just doors. This can be used
Mm,
as a key holder.
yeah.
We have the very tiny ones. We call them the mini toys. Yeah,
Mm,
we have different sizes. We can even create a doll that looks like you, like
mm-hmm.
as your size, a very
Yeah.
big one. Yeah, that
Mm,
has your size. Yeah.
that'll
So
be great
we
for event.
we 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 are not limited. Just come to us, tell us what you want, and we'll
Mm,
create it for you. Yeah.
amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much, Theresa Baduba
Welcome.
Ansah. It's been amazing. Great conversation. And if you think it was a great conversation, you're in the audience, please let us know what you think. And do share this with someone. We'll be back next month, 2 months' time, next week, with another awesome conversation on Originality Africa. Please, if you liked this conversation, subscribe, click the subscribe button, click the notification button, and let somebody else know what amazing things African entrepreneurs are doing. We're going to close out for the external audience, and then I'm going to have a tete-a-tete with Theresa internally before we close out for today. So thank you so much, and
Thank
see you
you. Thank you,
next
everyone.
time. So say bye to Theresa. Say bye, everyone. Bye. See you
Bye.
soon.